Hello everyone. On that last video we got a whole 2 views. It also did not upload. I opened my computer in the morning only to see that it had actually failed, so that's why it's a little late. I did technically still do it, it just crashed while it was uploading and I didn't notice in time to catch it, but I got it this morning technically. So, still counts, totally. But no, I am enjoying this. And I am sticking on my clock, and I'm being a little stickler with it. I'm doing it every night now, so yeah. I didn't just give up all of a sudden. And today, actually, we're going to talk about my exam stress. Not really. We're just going to talk about how I'm planning on studying for all of my finals I have. So I have 4 finals technically. English is iffy because I just had to do a bit of a response, but then I have a math one that will hopefully be written work, but it might be online in my lab. So they give you a question, you just input what your answer is. You may also have the sorry, I'm trying to remember here, the psychology one, which should just be multiple choice. And actually, the psychology one is only on, I think it's only on like 4 chapters, so that will be very nice. I actually didn't remember that while I was writing this, but yeah, I said it psych would be easy, and it will be. It will just be easier than I thought. And then we'll have biology, which I'm also just planning on reading the textbook for. I have very good reading recall. If I read the textbook before I go into the exam, I will probably just remember like 80% of the things anyway, so I'm pretty sure I can just do that for it. And here's what I wrote. Well, now all I have left to do is learn how to study. Luckily, I only really have 4 exams. One's English, so easy, and the other's psych, which I just need to read over the textbook for. I can also read the biology textbook in preparation, but I worry about possibly forgetting most of it. I've decided I'll make Kahoots for the subject so that we can have some review together, but I need to figure out how I'm going to learn calculus. It's my most perilous course. I wanted to check that word though, what perilous actually means, because I don't think it means what I thought it meant. Yeah, no, it is perilous. Perilous is full of danger and risk. Which is quite true. I didn't calculate my average for this, but okay. Luckily, it's being revealed that our teacher is different next semester, and reviews have been great so far, but I still want to build on a good foundation. So let's start with the easy, the stuff I know. Limits. I could probably just redo the assignments and check my marks. After that, I don't know where I could go for more questions. I expect the textbook may be a great resource, so I'll try to work through that. Maybe if I tried practice problems in the book and watched organic chemistry whenever I got it wrong. Organic chemistry is another YouTube channel like Khan Academy. I just prefer his style of teaching better. I find Khan Academy splits it up too much for me, whereas he just does like a 2-hour video dump, which works just a lot better for how I study because I prefer to study in like big chunks than just like bit by bit. So it's just what I prefer. If you don't like Khan Academy, you might like him better. I can move through it with fair ease. Tomorrow I have an hour between bio and calculus, so I'll start then. I'll make breakfast during the math Zoom, then when it's over I'll simply open the textbook to limits and start there. I'd only do odd questions anyway since those are the ones with answers, but I think I should work diligently through them. But I'll likely skip the higher level questions as those tend to take the most time, and they tend to be more about your thinking than the skills they're supposed to be teaching you. Then from there I can move systematically through the rest of the course. Then at the end of that, before my exam, I'll redo my assignments and check that part. I've had 5 assignments, so it'll probably take 3 days of review. My test is on the 23rd, so I should finish calc review in the book by the 20th. That gives me 17 days from today. There are 21 individual subjects to study, so I will have to study multiple times a day. However, I don't think the beginning material will be too difficult since I already know it fairly well. Just a little backstory. Just where I live, you have to take pre-calculus before you can go to calculus in the university. But pre-calculus has to be done in second semester. So basically in grade 11, you do pre-calc 11. Then you would do pre-calc 12 in the first semester, and then you do pre-calculus, which is just like university level calculus to a high school level. But that was also when the pandemic started, so I had to learn half of that online when nobody knew how to do online courses yet, so I didn't really learn half the material. The other thing I did that fucked me over way, way more than I ever thought it would was I skipped Math 11 because there wasn't any space in my schedule between being in the band program, biology, and in the French immersion program to do Math 11 pre-calc. But luckily on the courses you need to graduate page, it says you need a Math 11 or 12. So technically I could graduate even though I've never done that. And UBC did actually ask me about that when I applied. He said, hey, you don't have a Math 11. I said, I know, it just didn't work on my schedule, so we just decided to skip Math 11 and do Math 12 and calculus instead. So, yeah, I missed a lot of the basic skills that people did, like exponent laws, root laws, a lot more stuff with fractions, like factoring. I never learned factoring. I never learned the difference of squares. And yet, it turns out that that stuff's pretty important when you're getting into the higher level stuff. So I think that is part of why I'm struggling, is just because I missed a lot of Calc 11, so I had to make up for that in Pre-Calc 12, which I think I did fairly alright in. I think if I had had a better year by the end of it, I would have been very solid, but since it just kind of crashed and burned, I feel like a lot of my progress crashed and burned, so I'm kind of having to pick it up here, which is incredibly difficult, but hey, it just takes some time, and I'm going to get it one day for sure, because I don't want to be one of those people that just gives up on calculus. I think I'd actually really enjoy it since I have. I mean, I just love math, and I think so many of the things they do are so cool in it. So I'm a nerd, and I'll actually get back to the point here. Will be too difficult since I know it fairly well. Also, some of the points are incredibly short, so I think it will probably only take an hour. I'm able to stay an hour a day every day, especially if I plan in advance. However, this is only a plan and will need adaptation over time. Therefore, I will attempt to study 3 subjects a day. I will be making a paper schedule of all the studying I plan to do in the following weeks. Unfortunately, this is going to make it harder to do certain things like visit Liam, but I believe learning how to study will be better for myself overall. I also have to worry about biology, which is on the 15th. This is relatively sooner than the math, but I think that will benefit me overall since I'll be able to cram study biology much more efficiently than calculus. Psych is the 21st, which I'm not super happy about, but it will probably be a good study break, which would hopefully allow me to power through into the assignment part of the calculus review. And at some point during the weeks, I have to write between 750 and 1,000 words for a question on English. Again, I have now been writing 1,000 words a day for 19 days, usually more than that. Like today, I wrote, I had to write my journal for RPM as well, so I've written 2,000 words. I think that's the only writing I've had to do today, but I also read like 100 pages of a book, so I'm fairly confident in my writing speed. And they're just going to be questions like, what do you think literature affects Canadians? Because my English course is Canadian literature. So I don't think anything's going to be too difficult. I think there's going to be 2 questions, so you can answer between 250 to 500 words per question, so that's intensely easy, so I'm not worried about that at all. Yeah, it's going to be super straightforward. Overall, I simply need to maximize my calculus output on a daily basis and deal with the other exams as they come. I will only worry about biology on the 12th because I'm planning to mainly rely on short-term memory. I simply can't wait until classes are over. By this I mean we do get an exam week this year, which is amazing. So there's a week, and then there's your exams. So this will be my last week of class, and I will just have to build in my studying around classes, but I know once I'm in that exam week time, I will be much more efficient studier, since I will basically just be able to come back to study without interruptions at any point. Sorry, I lost my place again. I've been getting way better at it though. No, here we go. I've actually put paragraphs into this one. Normally I don't do paragraphs, so it's kind of interesting. The other half, aside from the planning, is the motivation. I tend to get easily distracted, especially when I can't simply focus on one thing at a time. This will be an issue in calculus alone, as it's the only class I won't just read a textbook for. I can read, like, pages and pages, like probably 60 pages with relative ease of a textbook, just without really getting distracted. Not if I have to write a question, go, frick, I didn't do that right. Find the video I'm looking for to learn from and compare and contrast them. That will be a complete struggle for me. So I think I'm going to try a bit of the Pomodoro technique. It's probably going to be more of the 3-question limit technique, where it's like, okay, you've worked through this, now you get a break. And hopefully this will also help train my brain that desk is the workspace and that couch is the chill space. So I'll be leaving. I have been leaving now for probably only like 3 days, because I only just recently realized I was doing it. Leaving my phone on my couch, which is like on the other side of that wall. And then here I will just be doing work. And I hope that will help a lot. I'm sure it will, honestly. Like, just as I was writing this, my phone was here. I was like, no, it shouldn't be here. So I put it over there, and I didn't even notice. I was just completely focused. Yeah, but as I was saying, once I'm struggling with the questions, I will struggle to focus infinitely. I can help prepare for this by giving myself plenty of extra time. This is also why I'm planning on doing 3 a day. I don't think that's too bad. Like, I actually closed that link. I won't bother looking for it while I'm on camera here, but yeah, there's 21 different subjects. So doing 3 a day ideally will lead into only 7 days, but I don't think it'll be that hard. I think like I'll be able to get through limits and differentiation, all that stuff pretty easily. And like L'Hopital's rule was only a 7-minute video. I mean, that's really, really quick. And I mean, half of it does depend how my textbook is showing it and demonstrating it, but I think I'll be okay as long as I give myself enough time and just do my absolute hardest to keep my optimism. It has really been struggling a lot recently, and you guys have seen it. You've gotten to see me just being completely, like, I don't want to say broken. It's a little overly dramatic, but that's kind of the word for it, where I'm just like, I can't do anything. All I want to do is lie down and stop existing. But now I'm here, and I'm kind of like perked back up, and I'm feeling a lot more like, let's go, let's go. And I think if I just keep that going as long as I can, like dig in deep, I can get through it quite well. And again, that's just the extra time and just being more disciplined. I think the Notus has actually helped a lot with discipline. Again, I've been writing 1,000 words for 19 days, which is crazy, because many of those days, like, I keep saying, like, ooh, I was able to write 1,000 words in 40 minutes. Usually I'm like, fuck, I've only got 300 words. No. Like, even today, I was like, oh, that's not a lot. That was on my journal, not on... Well, no, I actually had to add the paragraphs, because I was like, ooh, I can't just stop at, like, 800 words. Yeah. And last part here is just, I need to remember that I've never had a calculus test that has had every component on it yet. I've only ever done them separated, like, today we're going to do the integration test, except it's not just the integration test, It's the I don't know calculus words. That is something I really have to study, is the words of calculus. Like, well, let's just say we're doing L'Hopital's rule today. It's just gonna be L'Hopital's. That's it. You have like 4 questions underneath this heading of use L'Hopital's rule. But unfortunately, if it's like, here's a whole bunch of math questions to solve, like number 1, complex looking thing, I think that will be incredibly difficult. So I need to ask him tomorrow on the Zoom. And I also want to know how many of each question there will be, since that could really help reveal the difficulty of every question. I get an hour and a half on this exam. No, that's not true. I think they're bigger, actually. Yeah, no, they're 3 hours. So, is that 3 hours and 60 questions? So that's very possible. And then that's still only like 3 questions per topic. Or is that like 3 hours and like 10 questions? Because then that's even more difficult, because then I'd have to use all the strategies I've learned together, which is absolutely terrifying. Because that is just at a level that I don't think I'm able to prepare for within like 3 weeks. But I think of, regardless what the test is, I have faith in myself I can pass this exam with a good average, because I am passing class. So as long as I get like a 50 on this, I will be fine. And I think that's very, very doable. And even if it's not a perfect 4.0, doing this and studying hard will make it easier to get those 4.0s in the future. And I just need to focus on figuring it out and gaining those study skills, so that in the future I can do better at this and I can get more used to it. I'm just learning how to study now. So I'm willing to take the L today and keep moving forward regardless. And I include a little quote from, apparently it's not Benjamin Franklin. I thought it was Benjamin Franklin, but it's actually Dale Carnegie. I don't know who that is. Dale Carnegie. An hour of planning can save you 10 hours of doing. Which I do like. I like planning. I like cleaning. The whole clear to neutral thing is something I really, really enjoy. But where I'm missing it is in the doing part and the execution of the plan. So I'm gonna hold myself accountable, and I don't know if I want to start tonight. I'm very tired today, if you can't tell. I think it might be better to actually start getting to sleep on a schedule, because I'm actually doing this Notus way earlier. Like last night, I was probably done at like 2 a.m. and now I'm going to be done like by 10 p.m., which is just amazing. So yeah, I will start tomorrow, what every really good studier said. But yeah, I just wanted to wish you all a great day and tell you to take very, very good care of yourselves. This is exam season, but it's not the rest of your life. There's always a second chance. Don't worry too much.